maybe a little emotional damage. Thanks for letting us share the madness with you.
Welcome to Unhinged and On Call. We're really excited to have a awesome guest today, Natalie Pedraja. She's a LVT out of Virginia, and she's just so amazing. She's had a lot of different just experiences all throughout vet med, and so many different
and outside.
And outside. So many different
like
activities, and there are some really good just mental health messages woven in this episode, which is great, but some funny stories too, but also different things that she's done.
Yeah, like, it was good. Yeah. So hang in there, because it's a bit, we go through kind of all the different life stages and all that. But what's really cool, kind of midway through, is she has some really interesting hobbies.
Yes.
Involving diving, and actually river diving.
So
I just
cool.
assumed when she started talking about it, the places I've dived have all been like intro courses in the Caribbean and Mexico, and people that I know that dive are generally ocean divers. So I hadn't even thought of this.
Have you done scuba?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I never knew
I don't have a
I
certification. Brett and I need to get certified, but we live in Colorado.
Yeah. That's probably why I'm afraid of water, because I've lived here my whole life, and I don't like being in the ocean and not knowing what's behind me.
Well, and how, for whatever reason, and I think actually a fair amount of people are this way, but I'm okay with ocean diving.
Oh.
And then something about, and I'm just not a river pond person. Like the murkiness of rivers and ponds, and like vegetation that's on the bottom, things like that ekes me out in freshwater. So, and we talked about this. Neither Trish nor I could do the diving that Nat does, because
so cool.
There's like shit in the water.
Yeah.
Like there's mud, there's alligators, there's there's snakes, and there's a lot of like
so many different
aquatic
elements to it,
creatures in there that I don't want to be with if you can't have visibility. I think the big thing to me is visibility. Like as a kid we used to jump into lakes and ponds, and I hated it. Like I would do it.
It's the unknown.
Yes, everywhere. It's the unknown, because you can't see it. So I'm fine with like saltwater diving, I guess.
Okay.
I have not gotten certified, because the one thing that really does scare me, I'm not great in, like, I'm fine at swimming and whatever. Not the great at like jumping in. I have to like hold my nose. Is you have to, for certification, you have to be able to take all your gear off, usually in a pool. But I do know they do this in a lake too. You have to be able to take all your gear off under the water.
Oh.
And then reassemble it, because if it comes off, yes.
So I think I'm just like a claustrophobic person in general.
That's
so I think
that's
probably why, is that I'm claustrophobic. So
it's
I
not
don't
good
like
for diving. No.
Shit covering my face and
scuba. You could stick to scuba, but you said you don't like scuba.
No, I can't. Oh, scuba. I'm like barely.
Snorkel.
No, snorkel. I'm barely working a snorkel mask. I'm like, I'm breathing water. The air is coming. I'm okay, but then I'm constantly shifting and looking behind me. I'm like, what if there's? I'm like,
there's ones that are vented.
A storybook of like being swallowed, right? That's how I feel. I'm dead any second. Yeah, I'm a scaredy cat.
Okay.
I don't know.
But if you go in like non-shark waters, what are you worried about? Stingrays or?
No, I'm worried about sharks.
Sharks.
Yes.
Then you
I'm
just
worried
go in
about
non-shark places.
Yeah, I still don't like the mystery behind me. I'm like the kid that would be in the swimming pool, and I'm like, there's a shark in the swimming pool. That was me. I think
I'm going to have to force you to go on a vacation with me.
Oh my God.
And snorkel? We'll go to Australia.
I snorkeled in the Cayman Islands a little bit, and I just faced my fears and did it, because I was like, I'm fucking here. Cool? I got to do it. It was so pretty.
Okay.
So pretty. And then I swam on horseback in the water at that trip too, and that was like bucket list.
Okay.
It was great.
Okay.
So I'll do something sometimes if I feel brave.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry to divert. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's good. My fear with snorkeling always was my timing. If I you dive down and hold your breath, and my timing. But there are snorkels that have vents in them, so they don't let water in.
Yes.
I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
Okay.
But if I were to snorkel instead of dive, that's what I would have to do.
Okay.
This is a sidebar. I don't think we talked about this, but Brett and I and two other couples, went to the Great Barrier Reef and we did talk about that for a little bit.
We did. Yes, it was a while ago.
The Greenwich.
But
our yacht that we rented.
So awesome.
And I think Brett corrected me on the name. Actually, it is the Greenwich, but I think it's just a sailboat. It's not. I think that's what he was trying to tell me. Okay. It's like a 38-foot sailboat.
Still.
Anyways, the men in that group were spearfishing.
Oh.
And you have to be careful in the barrier reef because there's, of course, endangered species of fish too.
Yes.
But they're so tropical. But then there's some that are totally fine to eat and spear. Well, we were only eating what we were spearing. We weren't just like, I don't know what you... It wasn't for sport.
Right.
So, but they were spearfishing and diving down. And it was the coolest fucking thing ever.
That's crazy.
But to see... We didn't have dive gear. Like, we had very limited space on there. But we snorkeled. And I have to say that, like, was freaking incredible.
Oh,
like, I remember seeing, it was like the size of a huge ottoman, was a clam, and it was purple, and it was so, because it was so big, it was like slowly moving, and it would open.
It opened?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
But it was like,
cool.
It was fucking massive. And then we saw huge sea turtles just like swimming by, like, and all the tropical fish in the reef. Like, I don't know how long we did it, but I don't think I could stop.
Yeah,
I was like, everywhere you looked was something super vibrant colored and like just things you don't get to see in real life.
Well, yeah.
So that, if you snorkeled
so
like that,
unique.
you'd be like, whatever.
That sounds like a little bit more of my cup of tea.
Yeah. And then if a shark eats you, like, you've seen the best thing ever.
Oh my God. See?
You're like, I'm good now.
I'll go, but you have to swim behind me.
Okay. I will be behind you.
I'll know Chelsea has my back, and I'll be all right with that. Yeah. First in line.
Oh my God.
I'll sacrifice you. No, I'm just joking.
That's
I love
fine.
you so much.
That's fine. I'll fight that shark.
Man. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, we really diverged.
Yes.
Enjoy the episode, guys.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at VetCS, your go-to for veterinarian-developed CBD and wellness products for your pets and horses. Founded by veterinary professionals, VetCS offers science-backed formulas made with premium hemp extracts to support calm behavior, joint health, and overall wellness, whether you're in the clinic or out at the barn. VetCS is all about helping animals live better naturally. Want to see what they're all about? Head over to vetcs.com to explore their full line of CBD products.
Welcome, everybody, to Unhinged and On Call. We are very excited to have a great guest today, Natalie Pedraja, who is an LVT. And we're just super excited to dive into her background and have her share a little bit about just how she got into vet med in the beginning and where she is now. So, Natalie, welcome.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here for my first official podcast ever. So I'm a licensed vet tech in Virginia, and I have been in vet med since I was like 15 years old. I'm 32 now, so almost 17 years.
Wow.
Am licensed since 2017, so I spent a lot of, I think, more time in vet med as an assistant still than as a technician at this point, but I'm almost 10 years or 9 years strong as an LVT working in clinical practice, so...
You've already doubled the average.
Yes, you have.
I know.
Which is great.
I know.
mean, well,
Amazing.
if you consider all your time, that's like quadruple. But gosh, that's cool.
That is great.
Still going strong.
Yeah.
And I definitely attribute that to some really great leaders in the field, having a phenomenal set of colleagues like yourselves who I can go to and collaborate with, and just wanting to see the future of vet med continue in a good path is something that's kind of morphed from being so focused on patient care to how can we continue supporting patients and each other. Mm-hmm. So my start in veterinary medicine, or my interest in veterinary medicine, grew, I think, from, as with most of us, as a child, having a really strong interest in just the natural world. I did not grow up. I grew up with a Pomeranian who absolutely hated all of us kids. I'm the youngest of four. Hated us. She bit me in the face at one point.
Oh my gosh.
She was my second oldest sister was not nice to her when she was a puppy.
Kids are not to be trusted.
And then
Right.
No, kids are not to be trusted with animals. And as someone who's had multiple Pomeranians since then, I'm like, they just innately do not like kids.
Yeah,
and I don't blame them. They're tiny.
Yeah, they are tiny. Like,
yeah,
a kid
exactly.
could, like, crush them.
Oh yeah. Oh, so many broken bones in ER and Pomeranians that have been like stepped on or dropped by children. But I wanted to actually go into marine biology. But we did not really live near the water. And then that sort of just morphed into veterinary medicine when I started going with my mom to vet appointments and just talking to the veterinarian who treated our Pomeranian and then our late family dog Summer growing up. And I started shadowing there in the summers when I was like 14. Looking back on that, as an LVT now, I did some stupid stuff. In the
you learned from that, right?
Oh my gosh!
That's
like
awesome.
Looking back now, I remember one of the LVTs was doing a dental on a patient, and I watched someone walk by and just like empty the bag, the breathing bag,
right next to you, 14 years old.
Right next to me. I'm 14 years old, and I'm like, oh, that's a thing I can do. Not having any idea of what the consequences of that were. Right. So I'm like, I'm watching the bag start to like fill up the pet's breathing, and I'm just like squeeze and empty it.
Oh no.
Then I did get told don't touch it.
Right. When you're younger, like you see it, you do it.
Trying to help.
You're trying to help. You think you're doing
like,
something,
oh, this seems
positive.
Like, oh, they're busy, so here, I can help out. Having no idea about laws, regulations, patient care, patient safety. I'm like, this seems like a thing that I could help with since they're busy. And then they relegated me to folding one.
Didn't get to fold the towels.
She's in the kennel.
I got to fold the towels. Yep, pretty much. Yep, just they're like, maybe don't touch the patient.
That's awesome.
Was
that when you were 14? Because my daughter's 14, so similar. Was it after school mostly, or weekends, or?
It was the summer.
Oh, summertime. Okay.
It was during the summer.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. I love.
I did some fun. Yeah, I was pretty fortunate to kind of get exposure to that as a kid in high school or going into high school, and then really interested in pursuing a career as a veterinarian, because that's where pretty much my entire life was leading up to. I was always jealous of my sister Gab, because she got to do the fun, like, artsy creative stuff that I really wanted to do. Like, she was in, graphic design classes and doing like art classes and photography and things like that, and my life is just like math and science.
Not creative.
Not creative, and I wanted to do that, and my mom was like always telling us, you got to be a doctor so you can take care of us when we're old. And 4 kids, one of them's bound to go into medicine, right? Well, here we are. Here we are now. I take care of the animals.
Yeah, for sure.
And the biggest joke with my mom is, well, when you get old, we won't put you at a home. I'll just help euthanize you.
I know how to do it.
I'm like, it's not human medicine, but I can take care of you. I'll take care. She's like, no one leave me with Natalie.
Can't be unattended.
Like, I promise you won't suffer in your old age. I promise.
I sedate first.
I'll sedate first. I will give you so many edibles, Mom.
Oh my God, I love it.
So happy.
I love it. And so did you stay at that clinic that you were shadowing at? And
so I shadowed there a couple of summers, and then I got accepted into a vet science program when I was in high school. And it was a full year of traveling at the later half of the day to one of the high schools that does things like they have it's a technical program basically. So they had all kinds of things, EMT, like shop, culinary stuff, all kinds of things. I was in the vet science class and absolutely loved every single minute of it. Our teacher is an LVT in Virginia, and she really did such a wonderful job of teaching us and educating us high school students on licensed vet techs, because there's such a gap in the understanding of what licensed vet techs do across the country. And to be in a state where it's so heavily regulated and that licensure is so important, having that knowledge and that exposure at such a young age really helped carve out the path that I ended up going on, which is, in undergrad, when I started working in emergency medicine, I was working insane hours on call, trying to get through undergrad at VCU as a biology major, and ended up leaving with like a 2.4 GPA.
Yeah.
Because I was working all the time.
Yeah.
I was I was 18, 19 years old. I had no idea what burnout was.
Yeah.
I just knew I was
just
not in a keep going, because you're young, and what else do you have going on? You don't have a family, you don't have kids to take care of, things like that. And I was in that role in the ER for just under 3 years. And I was 19. I was terminated from the position for discussing wages, which is illegal.
Isn't that illegal?
Yeah. I was going to say that.
It's illegal to terminate for that. And to this day, I still have the termination paperwork from that practice.
That's unbelievable.
So I'm like, I didn't know at the time.
Well,
I was 19 years old. I was living with like really shitty roommates who had animals that they had no business having, and taking like 17 credits and doing not great in school, and working to pay once all of my my scholarships and grants and everything ran out because my GPA sucked. So they didn't give me more money. And so I ended up leaving 2.5 years in and deciding to pursue my vet tech.
Okay.
So that was in 2013. I spent a total of like 2.5 or 3 months in a GP, and I was like, no, I need to go back to the ER right now. I can't do this. Too boring. Take me back. It wasn't even that it was too boring. It was that the chaos of GP, and specifically a practice that was newly built. The owners had just separated from where they were associates, and they were a married couple, and they're building this brand new hospital. And they had such a client following that it was balls to the wall from day one.
They were just busy immediately.
Immediately. It had so many clients, and there were, I'm in tech school. I just enrolled. There's no LVT.
Oh gosh.
So I'm like,
you're the one
for 2 doctors?
I'm the only one, and I literally just started my first semester of tech school.
Oh my gosh.
Oh god. For listeners, that's like usually it's 3 to 1. 3 techs to 1 vet in small animal.
Yeah.
2 to
so
3 to
2
1.
of them.
Whoa. No wonder.
They're it's chaos. But also, it was my first time, like, being expected to do things in the exam rooms with the owners holding. And I'm like, I don't like any of this. I'm proficient working in ER with blood draws and things and can run tests. And the doctor, the husband, he was such a good guy. But he's like, go, 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 and keep clients happy 100% of the time. And so, like, I'm going in the rooms, I'm getting full TPRs, I'm writing it in the chart, and he's like, why are you doing all of that? And I'm like, but
part of standard practice.
They need vitals. They need vitals. He's like, no, I'll take care of it. And the chaos was not the fun chaos of ER. It was just all about keep the clients happy. And we had this client and her brother, and they're odd people with just more Persian cats than anyone should have a reason to own.
So they came in a lot.
They came in a lot. The smell from these people.
Oh gosh. Not from the cats, from the humans. Yeah, okay.
From the humans. The cats were covered in fleas
all
the time. She's an attorney driving like a $250,000 aluminum-sided Jeep.
What?
And this is back in 2013. Like, have money.
Yeah.
And they smell
Oh, God.
so bad. You smelled them before they came in the building.
No.
God.
And it was just hold your breath. We were
This
all
is
like,
what I
we
can't
don't-
do, is then go
Yeah.
in an 8x8 exam room.
Yes, then it's in a tiny enclosed
Nope.
area. No.
And then it just stays in the
Yes.
clinic
Yes.
Yeah.
forever.
I think that's what people don't realize.
Lingers.
Why the air fresheners are
And
so
they were
small.
just weird to interact with. There's a brother and a sister, and like, it's just that they were weird.
Do they live together, like adult brothers
I
and
was gonna
sisters?
say,
Yeah.
that's kind of strange they come in together.
It-
It's like a...
Yeah, I don't know if it was a situation where she was sort
She's
of like a
caretaker,
caregiver in
yeah.
a way. I mean, he didn't interact very much
Okay.
with us. He was definitely very disheveled most of the time, all the time. But a good friend of mine ended up working at that practice long after I left. And at one point, one of their cats bit him,
Oh.
and they said, you need to seek immediate care.
Oh, no. And
But he didn't.
But he doesn't. No.
And he lost the finger.
Oh!
The gangrene.
That's what it does.
Apparently just kept coming in with the gangrenous finger.
Ew. Oh, the smell of that.
Oh.
Man, I
You
can't.
just let... Oh, God.
Oh, I would puke.
Ew,
Yeah.
that's so disgusting.
Terrible.
Ugh.
Well, I
Terrible.
think just so many people also
Just-
don't realize that that's just like a needle injection of bacteria. Like
Yeah,
on a cat.
well.
Yeah,
Like,
just
it's
straight back.
just
And
like-
I was.
Gross.
I don't remember their names, but if I heard it,
Yeah, you'd
I'd be
probably
like,
be
it would
like,
it would
oh,
spark
immediate
that.
Yeah.
I think I'd be able to smell
smell.
it.
Oh,
The
God.
smell again. I would just be able to smell it.
Just something
And-
to never forget.
God.
Yeah.
God. Well, the Persians
Ugh.
don't match. I feel like Persian
Yeah, the-
people normally are like pretty like cat
The
hoity-toity,
cats.
like
Yeah.
very clean. you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's
yeah.
wild. But too
And
many
then-
cats match.
Yes. Yeah. Too many Persian cats.
And then, because I was in tech school and working this job and, stressed about money and
Yeah.
everything, the doctor, Anthony, goes, hey, you want a pet sit for him? I gave him your number. I'm like, no, why would you do such a thing? No! She's like, yeah, they'll pay you like $100 a day they'll pay you $100 a day to stay in their house. I was like,
Yeah.
never
No.
in a million years would I
not
do something
Try
like
100 an hour
I
and
would
at a
not
minimum
step-
of
I
6
know.
I would
hours.
not step in that house.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, why would you do that? Do you hate me? Do you hate me? Am I that bad at my job?
I thought for sure
Why
he's
would
joking.
you do that?
That is horrible.
Thank God they never. If
Okay,
they
good.
ever
They
contacted
probably
me, I
never
didn't know
traveled.
it, but
No.
They probably wouldn't leave.
yeah,
The gangrene
Uh,
finger. Oh god.
the gangrenous.
Ew.
I couldn't, and I was just like, I need money, but not
Yeah.
that bad.
Yeah, seriously.
I'll
I'm
starve.
not that
I'll
pressed.
starve for
Yeah.
I'll stick with
I
my
love
craft
water.
mac and cheese.
Yeah. Water is so filling.
Ramen.
Water
and
water is so filling.
Oh,
my
no. Oh, some
Oh.
people, man. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that burned in my brain like the smell.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Oh gosh. Oh man.
Okay, so how did you find your way? You went
Yeah.
back to ER after that, it sounds like.
I went back to ER. Because what essentially happened was that I got frustrated because I was in an exam room trying to get blood from a dog with an owner holding, and I was just, the trauma that I had experienced at the ER, there was no break. It went from getting fired to a new job in
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I just made this decision to not pursue my veterinary
Oh.
career
Okay.
because I was like, well, I'm never getting into vet school because I've got a 2.4 or 2.6 GPA, whatever it was. Organic chemistry, I just didn't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the last 6, I was like, I can't.
It's hard.
I'm too exhausted. I'm working overnights and then days and swings, and
Yeah.
the toxicity of that ER was
Yeah.
just
Ugh.
so much on my
bummer.
mental health.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, I'm like 19, and knowing I have a family of, history of mental health issues,
Right.
I'm like, no, I can fight it off.
Oh.
I'm not
Aw.
depressed. I'm not anxious. I'm just tired, working too hard, and
Oh.
so I go into the ER, and I go to a clinic that's further west called Veterinary Referral and Critical Care, which often has been mistaken for the VRCC in Colorado.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's the same acronym.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So I go out there, and I'd previously been working in the city, and I'm of this mindset of, oh God, I've been working with people who I assume kind of have the similar mentality and mindset of things in the world as I do in the city, and now I'm going out to the country where there's cows attached to the property. Yeah. There's cows on the property. But I knew a bit about this. I knew a little bit about this practice because with our older Pomeranian, when she came towards the end of her life, she had suffered from pancreatitis. She ended up having congestive heart failure, kidney failure. She was hospitalized there. Okay. But I'm like 10 years old when that happens. Oh, and now I'm 19. And so I go, I get hired, and I come in thinking, well, I've got 3 years of ER experience, and now I'm in tech school, so I think I'm hot shit. And I'm like, yeah, I know how to do things. And they were like, no, you're not doing anything until we make sure that you actually know what you're doing, which is very disheartening.
Yeah, it is.
And so within 2 months, I was like, I'm going to interview out. And I interviewed at a hospital that's now owned by Blue Pearl, but at the time it was private. And their ICU was like this teeny little shoebox. And I was like, they had all this space because it was built to fill all the space with outside specialty practices like cardio and neuro and internal medicine and all of that, and oncology, all these different basically like satellite kind of locations. And I decided, my mom told me, I really think you'd make a mistake if you leave, just tough it out. And I did, and I ended up staying there for almost 5 years.
Oh, okay.
And from there, I spent all this time in emergency medicine, and my mentor Susan, who I got to reconnect with just the other weekend up in Northern Virginia at a regional block, wet lab, took me under her wing. She's a VTS in emergency and critical care. And I just had such an amazing time learning all these wonderful things that I never would have gotten to learn. One, in tech school, and two, if I stayed in GP or even stayed at the ER I was at. Because I probably wouldn't have gone to tech school if I had stayed there. And so spent time doing that, transitioned into surgery. There's a change in management, and my first thought was, oh no, this is going to go the way it went at the first ER. When they changed management, they were doing some sketchy things. And so I'd been receiving messages from a technician I worked with at the first ER saying, hey, you should come work at WSU out in Washington State. We briefly lived in Washington State. My dad worked for Boeing. And so we lived in like Kirkland, Bothell area outside Seattle when I was like 4. So I didn't get to really experience a lot of that. But at this point in my life, I'm like, I want to go somewhere, and I kind of need to get away from being the youngest kid, the baby of the family, and just like need to kind of chart my own path. So I ended up going out to WSU.
Oh, cool.
Oh, good for you.
And it was the worst experience.
Oh no, it was bad. Oh no.
I will never work in academia ever again.
Oh, congratulations.
Ever again.
I know. We're like, oh.
I know. Well, I come out. I was so excited. I moved.
That's like a big journey.
I moved all of my stuff and my animals all the way across the country, and it is the most beautiful place I've ever seen in a summer.
Okay.
It is wide open blue skies.
In Pullman.
It is rolling green and gold fields. And it is stunning.
Wow.
And then I was, I was going out there to pursue my VTS. Because I was like, they have so much stuff, and they're really, they're really excited to have me and have me do these things. And then I started asking questions. Turns out people don't like that.
Oh, no.
People don't like a technician. Doctors don't like have that, they didn't like the technician asking questions. And the way that I learn best is trying to relate what is in front of me with past experiences.
So just procedural questions as you're going on.
Procedural questions, why choose this medication over this one? I was getting exposed to new medications that I'd never used before.
Yeah.
And then seeing medications get handled in a way that was different than how I had used them before. And there were definitely pain points where I started to see patient care suffer, and the justification was, well, the students have to learn because they might not have an LVT when they go into the world.
Okay.
And
this is academia. This is the problem with academia versus private practice. Not to interrupt you, but it's just
this is academia.
It's very different.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So different. And I came into the ICU as a level 2 technician training these students, and it was just kind of me and an assistant, and then all these 3rd and 4th year vet students that were constantly in and out. There was a constant change. Some of them were really interested in emergency and critical care. Some couldn't give a shit. So that started to wear on my mental health, because what I saw was patients being injured or dying because of either a lack of oversight or just disregard for what for standard of care. I never in my career have ever seen a patient die from sepsis from a IV catheter.
Oh no!
I saw that happen there.
Well, that's just that's malpractice. Yeah. Shouldn't happen.
Right, that shouldn't happen.
Nope. One patient, the clients were financially constrained, and the dog had IMHA. It was an Aussie. I interacted with them when they presented. I think it was maybe on an overnight shift, and they agreed to they came up with the money. They agreed to hospitalize, do a blood transfusion on the dog.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, protocol wasn't followed, and the bag of blood was not checked for hemolysis.
Oh.
On an IMHA dog?
The dog received a very hemolyzed unit of blood.
Shit.
Oh no.
And had an anaphylactic reaction and died.
Right.
Another patient was being seen by the internal medicine department for chronic IMHA, who was DEA negative, had received, I don't even know how many units in his lifetime at this point, was given a bag of positive blood.
Oh.
Come on.
And I asked the resident, were the owners informed? And she laughed and said, why would we tell them our mistake?
Oh.
Thank God the dog lived.
Okay.
But that compounding.
Yeah.
Seeing what we have available to us, but things like that happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
was so inappropriate
and staying
in my eyes.
Staying to support that not only affects your mental health, but also supports that.
Yeah.
Like
the narrative,
the structure, all that. Like, and then it's almost like, okay, if you're complacent and you stay, then
right.
things
And
are okay.
bringing
and
up those concerns was not.
And
that didn't go well.
Unfortunately, politically, whenever I feel like any institution, when you have more and more people, it can even be an emergency critical care center with all the specialties attached. As you just get more people, there's more like factors in it, and then it becomes a problem, right? Because it can break down just at one person, and then it's an ongoing thing.
Yep.
So I assume you left, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You go back to Virginia.
Well, so funny story. So when I moved out there, a couple things happened in Virginia before I moved out. Like literally less than 2 weeks, I got in a car accident and wrecked a car that I had just gotten. And what happened? I was heading to my one of my boss's house at VRCC, Ed, because he has a pond, and he asked me if I could dive the pond, because I scuba dive, to pull up a pump.
What?
This is cool.
Yeah, oh yeah, by the way,
You're scuba diver?
yeah.
Besides the car wreck, this is cool.
Yeah, besides the car wreck, this part.
You would go into, okay, but I don't like ponds. I like diving, but I don't like, you would go down in the...
Well, it really wasn't, it was, maybe like waist high. It ended up not really diving. This is summer.
He's like, you're my aquatic friend. I need you.
Pretty much, yeah. But I had my dive tanks in the back of the car, and I drifted slightly off the shoulder of the highway, and I overcorrected and I spun. I landed dead center in the middle lane of I-95, which it's tractor trailers, and I'm going north, so it's tractor trailers all the way.
No.
Well, the tanks went flying out the back windshield.
What?
I got hit head on.
Oh my God.
And I was like, well, I guess
this is it.
This is how I die. This is how I die.
No.
And I was dealing with such severe burnout that I'd had, mental health in veterinary medicine. I think we should talk about it and talk about what we all experience.
Yeah.
And I worked with Not One More Vet and have that instant of, where I had these passive suicidal ideations, which is another reason of like why I was like, I really need to get out of Virginia.
Yeah,
it's just I need a change. I've got not great memories happening here.
Yeah. Which good for you.
And then in that instant,
good for you for recognizing and doing that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this car is, thank God it's not a semi, but a car. I see a car just a split second of coming at me, and I had the wherewithal to like throw my arm up, and the airbags deploy. The car is wrecked. That I'm like,
you survived?
Someone comes over. I survived it. Yeah. I have like a small little scarf on my shoulder from the seatbelt.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
That's wild.
That's it. Yeah, I had flip-flops on, so like my pinky toe got maybe a tiny little cut.
Aww.
The airbag deploying, obviously, like it looked like I got punched in the face, but
yeah. That's incredible.
I walked away from that. That was the scariest phone call I ever had to make to my mom.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I never want to have to make that call again.
Just sheer panic.
Oh my God.
Just sheer panic. She's driving, like I'm at my parents' house right now, and they're south of the city, so she's driving all the way north near like King's Dominion, which is probably almost an hour away from here. I call my boss. I call Ed, and I'm like, hey, so I just got in a car accident. He's like, oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah.
He's like, I need to come get you? I'm like, no, my mom's on the way.
Oh.
And I'm talking with the police and fire department, and I'm like, so there's a dive tank somewhere in the middle of the highway.
You could grab the tank.
No! And then I dove. The tank was fine. The tank, it sheared off part of the valve.
Okay.
But we tested it. We did hydrostatic pressure testing. Okay. I dove with it a couple months later.
Oh my God.
It was fine.
There's a dive tank in the road.
How far did it go?
So there's...
How far did it from the car?
It went into the middle of the highway. I don't know exactly. I did not find it. Okay. Someone else found it. They're like carrying a tank, and I'm like, that's it!
That's my dive tank. I can't.
That's mine.
It's good they didn't. I'm trying to think of a head-on. So yes, they would go the other way. But
because I spun and basically just centrifugal force through. I'm like, how the fuck did the back windshield break? I'm like, oh my God, where's the dive tank?
Oh no!
Imagine if
where's the tank?
If you got like rear-ended, they'd go forward towards you.
I'll go forward.
I mean, shit.
They were and they were in the back. It was that was on me for not. They were not secured.
Okay, so is that a thing? I've never traveled with that.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to secure them.
Yeah, I was supposed to be scared.
I think about this with all my vet equipment, because mine goes in the back seat.
Yeah.
And we've got generators and, ultrasounds and
oxygen tanks, always supposed to be secured because they can become a projectile if the valve breaks.
When I think I was maybe 19, 20. I drove a Passat, and I was literally stopped at a red light, and somebody ran the light behind me and totaled me from behind. And I had all my like college shit in the trunk, so all like binders, like my backpack. a bunch of other random crap because I'm like still basically a teenager.
Yeah.
I'm just like, whatever. I have all this shit in my trunk. And I was rear-ended and totaled from behind that the whole back seat collapsed and everything. My backpack that was in the trunk was in the front seat next to me.
Wow.
After it happened. And I like wasn't even, obviously I didn't see it coming. Yeah, because I was just sitting at a red light. So I wasn't really looking behind me because I was just sitting there. And then it's just that split second, you know, and it's all in the front. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that I wasn't expecting it, so I don't tense up. That actually,
okay,
that's crazy.
I want to go on a segue here.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite dive? Like, where have you gone?
Yeah.
So every year I go down to Cooper River, South Carolina, which is about an hour outside of Charleston. And it is river diving. Oh, it's dark. Yes. It's not black water, but it's brown water. Yeah. It's dark. And it's fossil hunting.
Yes. Oh.
So
I've seen this on your Facebook because we're Facebook friends.
Yeah.
So it's So talk about things you find because I've seen pictures and you've posted pictures of things you found because it's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but gators? Are there gators?
Oh, good question.
There are gators. I am fairly certain I had a gator go over me and hit the top of my head on one dive several years ago. I know it was not another diver because I would have either seen a light or heard bubbles. So I just have to assume that it was a gator. That's what I tell people. I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay. You just know that that's a risk. Okay.
Whoa.
All right.
It's a risk.
Okay.
It's a risk, but we stay away from the banks.
Yeah.
And
they're
generally
on the banks.
you know, they don't.
Okay.
They're generally on the banks. They don't. I've never encountered them.
If you can't see though.
Yeah.
Like what I'm thinking of is brown
well, you
water.
can see a bit,
but not a lot.
So
I'm so brave.
Not a lot, but
brave.
usually, you know, a good dive has a like maybe 5 to 10 feet of visibility, but it's generally about 1 to 4, 1 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's also currents
impressed.
that you're contending with, so you're working into the current.
Whoa.
I've definitely been pulled
pretty
far, and that was super stressful because I'm surfacing and I'm kicking, trying to get back to the boat, and I am not moving.
Yeah.
And of course I'm getting tired because I've been diving for 90 minutes and crawling against this current. So you know they have either a claw or a spike, like a gardening claw that you just kind of anchor in and drag yourself along. Your army crawling on the bottom, trying to find gravel beds. Sometimes you hit sand. Sometimes there are cutouts in the river where if you go up, your head might hit it, and then you got to find your way back around it.
At least you've got oxygen.
It's an adrenaline rush. They're down trees, so sometimes like you just come
right into
and
a
there's
tree.
a tree just right at your hip, right at your face.
And in the midst of all of this, you're sifting and looking for fossils.
You're sifting and looking for fossils.
Okay.
Usually megalodon teeth.
Hell yeah.
I have found some whole teeth. I think the biggest one I have is a little over 5 inches.
What? So I remember seeing a photo. Like, did you post a photo? And this may have been a little while ago, but of just your the palm of your hand, like you were holding it, and that's so cool. You'll have to send it to us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we can put it on the notes. Yeah, in our video.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Definitely.
That is so cool.
So it's so fun, and every time that very first dive, because what happens, we're going down either the anchor line. I've gotten a little braver where I don't go down the anchor line anymore. I just drop.
Oh my god.
Okay.
And land where I land. And there's a moment as you're diving where even though you have your lights on, you hit this total darkness. Where it's just like dead center. There's no light, and then you're dropping and you're overweighted because you need to be able to not get pulled down by the current or have to, or you know, worry about your buoyancy pulling you up off the bed, so you're overweighted, and then you just you go past that and you drop and you hit the bottom. And sometimes the bottom is a beautiful gravel bed, or sometimes it's just straight mud. And it's nothing but silt around you. That I'm like, no, I'm not trying to find my way out of this. I can't see shit. If there's no current, it doesn't pull the silt away, and it just stays suspended. And you're just sitting there breathing and waiting for it to settle. And if it doesn't settle, so But this last trip last year, on the very last dive of the trip, after having this horrible worst nightmare situation on the first day where I had a bunch of beautiful teeth in my bag, and the bag flipped upside down and I lost it all. Yes, I was
and there was
furious.
No
I was so
pissed.
Yeah, it just like took it away. You can't.
The current carried
Well,
it?
as you're surfacing, if it's just down,
you were
like
surfacing.
it was
while
I was surfing. So I can't go back and retrieve it at that point. I don't have enough air. I've already surfaced.
Oh my God.
You know, I've got to do a safety stop. I've got to decompress, all that stuff.
Yes.
But so the last day I begged our captain Mark. I was like, can we please go back near that spot?
Yeah.
Back to that spot where I dropped those teeth. On my way back along the gravel bed, I'm like, that doesn't look quite like a rock. You look for a shine.
Okay.
It's the enamel.
Okay.
And I pick it up, and it is a mastodon molar.
No way! Shut up!
It was a mastodon molar.
Cool.
A mastodon molar. It's got 6 points.
Okay. 6. Jeez.
And they know when I have a good dive because I come up clutching things to my chest like an otter.
Yeah.
I'm like
an otter.
I'll stuff big teeth in my wetsuit.
Yeah.
I'll get back on the boat and I'll just unfold the wetsuit and teeth will fall out.
That's incredible.
Oh my God.
So fun. Of course the history of South Carolina has to include the indigenous peoples there.
Yes. Yep.
And slavery.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one thing that we will find, because that area of the Cooper River was rice paddies.
Oh.
So you can find indigenous artifacts. We found a lot of arrowheads.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then colonial artifacts, pipe stems. Some people have found whole pipes with the bowl and everything.
Whoa. I know, me too.
And
I thought you were gonna say
definitely, I
people.
found horse. I
Horses.
found one area where there's like a bunch of wood, like clearly colonial era.
Okay.
And then a bunch of horse teeth,
Okay.
which were not fossilized. So you can only assume that a horse died there somewhere, found some bones.
Not human bones.
Which is still really cool.
Yeah.
No, not human
God,
bones.
you were
Not human
gonna say
bones.
human
Animal.
bones, we thought.
No
We
human
thought
bones.
maybe.
When you said it,
Yeah.
slavery, I was like, no.
I think we had the same thought at the same time. We were like, oh my God. So can I ask, and this is probably a little naive, but how do you get those aged after? So like the tooth that you found, where do you take it from there? Or do you take
are you
it
selling
somewhere?
them?
Yeah, what do you do after?
I don't sell them.
Okay.
I started giving them away, fragments, not the really nice ones. I have them in a
You
display
collect
case.
them, yeah. Okay.
I collect them because
Cool.
They're cool.
I love collecting things.
Yeah.
When I'm not diving,
Yeah.
I'm foraging.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's cool.
And if I'm not foraging, then I'm diving or
Or working.
collecting a hobby.
Yeah.
Or collecting a
Yeah.
hobby. Yeah, or working.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I don't specifically try to get them aged, but there's a range of millions of years old for each species of extinct shark.
Okay.
So I've got fossils from all kinds of sharks, bull sharks, tiger sharks, sand tigers, makos, like so many different species lived in that area so many millions of years ago.
That's so cool.
And it's so cool. Great whites, all kinds of things. And just think of this area having been home to all kinds of extinct animals. But I found pottery. I found colonial era pottery, which is really cool. I found like a jug, like part of a jug that still had the handle, which was really cool because you can see the lines from the maker on the inside of the pot.
Yeah.
So cool.
And I brought back some clay from there. Turns out it was mud.
Okay.
So I couldn't throw it.
Brought back some mud.
But again, I go down with a pillowcase and I'm like shoveling crap from the bottom. I'm like, this is gonna make pottery. And I come back up. I'm like, this isn't clay. This is mud. This isn't mud.
You did start throwing pots, right? You were doing some pottery.
Yeah.
stuff,
So I've
too,
been doing pottery. Yep. So I've been doing pottery. I started that out here in Virginia before I moved to Washington. There was no place to do pottery in Pullman, so I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And then I moved after I left WSU, I went further west. I was like, I didn't get to experience enough of Washington State. And I will say, COVID is what got me out of that position.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I'd signed a contract for them to pay to relocate.
Yeah.
Well, my mom developed an autoimmune disease and COVID hit, and I was like, I think I need to go home.
Yeah.
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 And then I didn't.
Oh.
And then I went to South Everett, so about 35 minutes north of Seattle, and started working at Animal Medical Center of Seattle, where I met my friend April, who's my manager, who was saved my life on more than one occasion. Just, again, I moved on May 15th of 2020 when everything shut down. That was the day that they ordered everything shut down. So I'm living in an apartment. I know no one. I'm starting a job after, again, having no break from working in an environment that really affected my mental health in some of the worst ways, to a new place where they were really excited. The interview process went great. And the biggest issue I was facing was how I communicated. Because I'm an East Coaster.
True.
Raised by Yankees from Connecticut. And then going to the West Coast, and my mom warned me. She's like, when we lived out there and you were young, you don't know this, but I was constantly called aggressive by people in the Pacific Northwest. Like, I don't understand. Well, we just have a very direct way of communicating. And so I had to learn how to communicate opposite of how I communicate entirely, and that is wearing. That's super.
Yeah, that is.
That's you feel like you're changing the essence of who you are.
Changing yourself.
Yeah. So I had April to lean back on and support me, and my supervisor, my department supervisor, Alex. They gave that tough love where I needed it, but they were also very easy to go to and have those conversations where I'm like, hey, I had this interaction with this doctor. How bad did I fuck that up? That's how I was
just
approaching
give it to me
like,
straight.
Just give it to me straight. Just tell me. I just need to know. And I was working in neurology, and a similar situation where one of the neurologists they were a couple. That was it was also not a great situation.
It's really hard. My husband and I are both vet, but we've worked for people that are couples. We've heard obviously a lot of stories. It's like not easy to make that be a good thing.
No, and she was from the East Coast, from Connecticut. Went to WSU, and just an unpleasant person. On a case. Her boyfriend's case that I was running, sedation on an MRI. Well, the monitors and MRI suck. We know this. Well, the pet had gotten dexmedetomidine, so I expected it to be bradycardic and expected the oscillometric blood pressure cuff to not work adequately. And she comes up, and I'm fiddling with the blood pressure cuff, trying to get it to give me something. The patient's otherwise doing great under anesthesia and stable. And she tells me to give it atropine.
Okay.
And I'm like, this isn't her case. And I shake my head no. Well, that did not go over well at all. And so that I got talked to and told that I was being defiant to a doctor's orders. And I explained, well, this wasn't her patient. She's not aware of what the dog got dexmedetomidine. It's doing fine. I was just having some issues with the blood pressure cuff. And pretty much from there, it was just did not like me. At all. Well, come to find out, her DEA license had expired. And she was dispensing massive amounts of controlleds under her boyfriend's DEA.
Oh no!
To patients of her. To her patients.
Under his name.
Like, under his name.
That's not great.
Yeah.
No. So I reported that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
What?
Because it's not right.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
People?
it's not right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm talking like hundreds of pills of phenobarbital, dozens of mLs of midazolam that had just been filled.
But why
for
wouldn't
a
you just
patient.
renew your license?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Right.
Because
why
then
not
I think
just
there's something
take care of it?
fishy.
Because why would she have to? She could just use her boyfriend's
Well,
and get
but
away
that's
with it and not spend the
professional.
$800 or whatever.
Yeah, how much is it?
It's 800
It-
every 800
it's
every
like
2
about
years.
880.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
And
just
so,
something you do.
so there were
Yeah,
just
it's just a
things
part
that
of
she
it.
was doing that were not at that. Again, I was like, this is not okay. So I left that department and went into surgery.
Okay.
I just bounced around because
Yeah.
I had so many issues,
Yeah.
and it got to a point where I ended up going into a 12-week intensive outpatient therapy
No.
program.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Because I could not grasp how I was supposed to communicate.
Oh,
okay.
And it just, again, wore on my mental health. So I went on FMLA, and thank God that Washington State pays 80%
Okay.
of your
Oh, that's
your
good.
salary
Yep.
for FMLA,
Okay.
because I would not have been able to survive.
Yeah.
It would have been, I got to get out
Yeah.
and get back to Virginia, because I can't make this work in any way, shape, or form.
So, and to make it a little less isolating of a feeling for you, I feel like we've had quite a few guests, like a handful of them so far, technicians,
Yeah.
that have spoken up in times of turbulence and gotten reprimanded for it, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of a constant or a consistent issue.
But and it's not easy to speak up. So
Yeah.
you're like going out on a limb
Yes,
and trying
You're
to
being-
correct something,
right.
And then you get reprimanded.
advocating for your patients and
Yeah.
trying to do the
Yep.
right thing,
Yeah.
and then that's not
Yeah,
good.
I can only
So-
imagine. I'm glad you've protected your mental
Yeah.
health, or at least been aware of it.
Right. Yeah. Been
Yes.
aware of it and did something about
Yes.
it. Yeah. Good for you.
Give me one second, I gotta plug my laptop in.
No, it's okay.
Well, and we'll edit this part out, but
Yeah.
because we'll run a little bit short on time. So I think,
Oh yeah.
but we want to hear
So interesting.
your recent stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Where
have you-
you're.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 'cause
Where
I
are you
think
at right
what we
now?
don't want to do, and me too, is leave people hanging. Like, are you happy where you are now?
Yeah,
Have you found
yeah.
a place? Those kind of things.
Yeah. So I bounced into preclinical research for a minute
Okay.
after I came off of my FMLA and
Yeah.
decided, no, I think I just need a
You
break
can't go
from
back.
from doctors.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had all the support in the world from April and Alex,
Okay.
and I had built more support.
Okay.
And that was fantastic. So I went briefly into preclinical research and worked with primates,
Oh, fun.
rats, mice, and beagles.
Okay.
Same situation.
Yeah.
Had some concerns.
Uh-huh.
Brought them forward.
Yeah.
Got retaliated
Yeah.
against. Had an attorney.
Ooh.
Got that taken care of. Was able to kind of take a good 6 months
Uh huh.
and just exist in the way that I wanted to, which was doing pottery.
Okay.
I was doing art.
Yeah.
I was hiking. I was foraging. I was doing all this stuff that my younger self wanted so badly
Yeah.
to do. And I got to do it, and I got to live that and experience that
Good.
and heal.
Yeah.
And then I moved back to Virginia. Became a mall cop.
What?
I have a very
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I became a mall cop. I have security training because I worked for the state at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts doing security when I was also at that first ER
Yeah.
while I was an undergrad,
Oh, no
while
wonder
I
you
was working at
Burned out.
Yeah.
and so I was doing that. So I had Department of Homeland Security training, and so I went and I became a mall cop. I went and became a mall cop because I was like, all right,
I don't have to deal with
I
assholes.
love
Well,
it.
no, a different kind of
Yeah.
asshole.
A different.
but-
Yeah. A different kind. Yeah.
there was hardly I mean, there were I got to walk outside. I
Yeah.
was walking.
Yeah.
I was getting my steps in. I was outside. I was interacting with the shop owners and making friends there. I was just me and my supervisor, Pete, who's a retired Army veteran who worked in communications doing some crazy stuff. Okay. And so we would have we'd have fun conversations. Yeah. They loved me at that job. And the job that I was at, I think it was about 2 weeks into that job, I came across, I had just finished my data analytics certification through Google, because I was like, I want to do data analytics for veterinary clinics, which we had started, and then I got the job I have now, where I just kind of never did anything with them. This is the laptop, by the way, that I was doing the work on that sat for 2 years.
Oh, yes.
Because one day it just didn't turn on. So I did that, and then 2 weeks in, I find a position for a practice manager with Urgent Vet. And I didn't know anything about Urgent Vet. And they wanted specifically LVTs with a minimum of 5 years clinical experience. And they wanted leadership experience, but it wasn't mandatory. Yeah. And in a way, I had some, I had some leadership because I was training the vet students and putting together protocols and kind of self-leading in a way when I was in research. Yeah. And it was a Hail Mary. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I get a call while I'm doing my patrol at I get a car. So I'm driving. I have to drive on my external patrols at the mall, and so I can't have my phone on me in the car.
Pedraja.
Right. And I get a call from the recruiter, Dana, saying we would love to extend you an offer for a practice manager position. Aww. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Holy shit, this is not something I ever thought would happen. Aww. And I'm like, shit. They really like me at this job, and now they like me here. But I don't want to be a Malka forever. It was just a nice little break to get me out of the house. Cool. So that was in April of 2024. Okay. So I am coming up on 2 years with the company.
Awesome.
And it was rough getting into that clinic because I was back in the city. Okay. Maybe 3/4 of a block away from that first ER that I had ever worked at. Yeah. I'm now living a quarter mile from the first place I ever moved out in the city.
Nice. Yeah.
It came full circle.
So much.
You have done. This is like Jack.
And that's just
cool. Yeah.
That's just the tip of the surface. Yeah. There's so much more. I've done just random things.
You're just really good at branching out.
Yeah.
I just love learning stuff and trying new things because
I could see you being a really good
what's the harm in
practice manager though. That's actually kind of a perfect role.
Yeah, I agree.
I get to it's operations, so I'm working with data. Yeah. Which I'm like
you can take my F down if anything goes wrong.
Damn right I can. I'm like, hey, guess what? My numbers show this, and this is what I'm making data-driven decisions and solutions, and I am also now in a position and have been in a position where I can take all of the experiences that I've had, all of those interactions with all kinds of people from all kinds of walks of life, doctors, technicians, doctors. The doctors only want to listen so much. But taking. Now I made a joke. It's like my clinic is the island of lost. I'm taking these people who I can see have been hurt by vet med, but have such a strong love and desire for what they do and how they can have an impact on patients and clients for the better. Yeah. And I came into what was essentially a failing clinic. Mm-hmm. I got called out in my first ops meeting by our VP of Special Operations, where he's like, Carytown. He's like, I don't think Carytown's on this call. So this is what they're not doing, why their numbers are down. And I'm like, hey, I just started, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. And I did.
Wow.
In something like 6 months, I took us from being like 16th out of, at the time, there were maybe 80 urgent vets, something like that, and took us into the top 10.
Aww. You're so awesome.
For the cases and revenue. And I know, we don't want to, there's still such a taboo about talking about the revenue in veterinary medicine. But something that I tell my team is I can pay you what I'm paying you because of how we have to function to take care of these patients. I've done so much I've been able to do so much free care for patients because I have a buffer with what we're able to do because we elevate the medicine.
That's cool.
Taking on more, taking on cases. It was definitely really rough in the beginning because I opened the floodgates. I started Memorial Day weekend because I was like, I'm going to be a leader who comes in on a holiday and works the floor. And they hated me. Day one, hated me because I was like, they're telling clients are calling and we have our board and they're turning people away. And I'm like, we have no one here yet.
Yeah.
I did all of my training when I was on doing my in-clinic training down in Florida, working off of the numbers and the trends at my hospital. So I could see what was going on. So I was backfilling like 6 months of when they had no practice manager because they didn't have January, February, March, April. It's like 5 months without 5 or 6 months without a practice manager.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
And being totally new to this, learning new systems, learning new modalities, learning how to be a leader, and also still being a technician on the floor. So I still get to keep my hands in that and train and teach new things. And the team that I've been able to build is just the absolute most supportive group of people that I could have ever found. One of my technicians, Melody, such a wonderful person. We worked together adjacently at that first ER. She worked in internal medicine, and I was afraid of her. Like, me being a teenager, her being an adult, a fully formed adult, but having no understanding of mental health and what that looks like. I was so worried about working with her when she came over to VRCC after I'd been there, and she was working, and she pulled me aside. And at that point, that was probably 10 to maybe like 6 or 7 years after we'd like last interacted or so. And she pulled me aside and she's like, I want you to know that I am so sorry for the way that I treated you.
Aww.
You didn't deserve that. You are a wonderful technician. And just like, I was like, who is this? Like when she asked to talk to me, I was like, immediately I'm like sweating. I'm like, oh God, anxiety. And now I have her on my team.
That's incredible.
I've hired her.
That's really cool.
She, to be told, and I don't consider it like, oh, it's an ego boost. I just consider it like, these are people who truly care to tell enough to tell me how much they appreciate what I do and what I bring to the field, because that's been the goal all along. I wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to bring that. Well, that didn't happen. I wanted to be a VTS because I wanted to bring that. Well, that didn't happen. I wanted to do all these, and now the last thing I ever wanted to be was a practice manager.
The universe
and now I'm doing
plans.
all these things.
It
really did.
I think it's perfect.
It is.
I think
it really did.
I think the reason you hit like snags and things like that at different practices is you probably had leadership qualities that were either intimidating or like there's something there that you could see better. And now you get to do those things and create
that.
the team.
Now
And
I get to
an
do those
urgent vet,
things.
you have vertical. I mean, you can go up from there.
I can go up.
Yeah.
So what?
my
what a
R-
cool
my
thing.
RD Kylie has been so amazingly supportive,
Okay.
and I, one of the biggest things that they tout is falling forward or failing forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Falling forward.
Yeah.
I'm like that's
No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
amazing.
That's
It
life.
is.
Because-
it is life.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't be afraid to try things
Yeah.
for fear of reprimand. I mean, within reason
Yeah.
of reprimand,
Yeah.
because how else do you grow and learn and develop?
True.
That's correct.
Yep. Yeah.
Try it one way, doesn't work. Okay, let's reevaluate.
Yeah.
We
I
tried
love
it, and that was so much of my first year of being in practice was okay. We're gonna try the workflow this way.
Yeah.
Maybe not. We're gonna try
Yeah.
it this way. Okay, that seems to work a little bit better, and so we've just continued to develop.
So that's your regional director saying is failing for, and maybe I don't know about it. But
That's the company.
that's
I mean,
the
that is
company's?
the company.
Oh,
That's
I
what the
love that.
company.
Oh, that's
Failing
cool.
forward.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Failing
nice.
forward. That was the
Oh.
first thing they told us in training with our learning and development department.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
Yeah.
great.
And even though we are such a big company,
Yeah.
and after kind of circling all the way back to the my termination from that first ER where they cited wage
Yeah,
discussion as a reason for termination.
Yeah.
I am the most pro union,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
anti corporation
Yeah.
person besides next to Liz.
Yeah.
Houston,
Liz is,
that you
yes. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
I'm
wonderful.
part of the NVPU. I advocate
Good for
for
you.
that.
Good.
And my goal is, well, if I'm going to be part of a corporate entity, then I'm going to make my clinic like a shining example
Yes.
of worker advocacy.
Yeah.
Love it.
I increased our wages,
Good.
our baseline wages for assistants and technicians. So
Awesome.
now I'm one of the highest paying clinics in Central
Great.
Virginia, even though I'm
yeah.
not in ER.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I did get to a point where I was spending
Nah.
maybe $1,000 or more on feeding my team every month.
Oh,
Sure.
So that had to get that had to.
But
I had to bring it down a
retention,
little bit.
yeah.
But
then they're
it was supported.
Yes.
Like I'm spending all this money feeding them like every day.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, your team likes food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to do team building or team outings.
Yeah. Do food.
Feed them.
Yeah, feed 'em.
Seriously. It's not
So I
that
go to
hard,
Costco
people.
every-
Right.
It's not
It's
hard.
not.
I have my own Costco membership, and I go
Yeah.
over to Costco once every week or every other week,
Oh, that's
and I just
great.
get all kinds of
Yes.
snacks and like my team really likes the pho and ramen bowls.
Oh, yeah.
Like those,
Yeah.
I'll stack those. Yogurts,
Oh,
like
this
I
is
try
the
to keep
best.
things in the clinic
Yes.
that all of us can enjoy, and is there's dessert stuff and
Yeah.
like slightly healthier snacky things, and then on the weekends I try to make sure that everyone's getting an opportunity to get lunch or dinner or whatever.
that's
I'll go
cool.
pick it up and bring it back, and because otherwise, like that's kind of where I cap out with the with things like that. I am not someone who decorates.
Yeah, like-
The executive dysfunction stops there.
Yeah,
I
there
can
you go.
shop.
Food is great.
I'd rather have-
I'd rather have food.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
utility type things.
Yeah.
That,
Well, you're literally
Same.
the definition of be the change that you want to
Yeah.
see.
That's
This
what
is
I,
so
yeah.
I love your whole journey and full
Yes.
circle of everything,
Yeah.
and also like doing things for yourself, like woven in there, like your tithing
that
and
is so cool.
pottery and FMLA time and all
Yeah.
of those things that make you better for yourself first and
Yes.
foremost is so
Yes.
important. And I think
Yeah.
it's just a great just lesson, and also inclusivity for other people that feel that way, that they
Yeah.
can self-advocate. And we've
Yeah.
had this talk luckily a few times.
Several times,
Yes,
yeah.
and every time I want to cry.
I know. Well, I'm
Because
tearing
it's
up a
so
little.
it's
Yeah.
like wonderful just that people do that for themselves, and so I'm glad that you were able to do that, and thanks for
Yeah.
sharing it and being transparent
Yeah,
with us.
absolutely.
That's amazing.
Well, thank you
Well-
for giving me the opportunity
Yeah.
to
We're so
have
happy
just
for
a
you,
very
too.
Yeah.
non-linear discussion
I
about
would like a tooth.
all of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
At
Maybe
least
I'll
a
buy
yeah,
a tooth.
I got you.
And
Yeah, tooth picture.
I got you.
You want
can
to
frame a tooth.
Charles would love a tooth.
Yes, my
Her
son would.
I'll get you. I'll
My
go.
son would
I
love it.
literally have a bucket of teeth in my car that's been
Really?
driving
I
around
love
since last year.
Yeah, send us some photos and we'll definitely include it.
Wow, I got you. Yeah, okay. I will absolutely do that.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you so much.
It was so fun talking to you.
It was.
It was so fun talking with you guys too.
Thank you so
again
much.
for having me.
Okay. Well, we'll talk to you soon and have a great day today.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We would really love to have you as a guest on our podcast. So if you have any fun stories to share with us or would like to be a guest, we have a form on our website. So unhingedandOnCall.com. And you just click on the little link there and you can fill out a little bit about your story and yourself, and then we would get back to you. Or you can just email us to chat@unhingedandOnCall.com and just tell us a little bit about yourself. And we would love to have you as a guest. We also are looking for ratings. So essentially on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, you can rate and review our show. And that would be super helpful in just getting kind of into the algorithm. And then additionally, we are on YouTube. So if you ever want to watch videos, we put more content, like visual content, so pictures, videos, things like that, into the episodes. So we'd love to have you follow or subscribe our channels on YouTube. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure you subscribe so you get all the latest updates. Unhinged and On Call isn't just a podcast. It's a lifeline for every veterinary professional barely holding it together with vet wrap and caffeine. Somewhere out there, another tech, vet, or assistant is deep in the same chaos, dodging poop, managing meltdowns, and wondering if they're the only one unraveling. You're not. Whether you're laughing, crying, or rage cleaning your truck, you've got a whole tribe behind you. You're unhinged, but never alone.